Music. Music has made a very big impact on my life and will continue to do so till the end of time. But we're not just gonna talk about music as a whole. We're gonna talk about a certain genre of music. Rock. Oh, I remember the day I first discovered rock, and I know for a fact I will never forget it. But if I do, once I get old and tired, this will be a time capsule for me. Ladies and gentlemen, I now present you media that introduced me to rock music.
What color is Michael Jackson?
Black.
Hot Tub Time Machine. I watched this movie back when I was a kid in middle school, and it was not on regular TV back then. It was on bootleg. And if you know bootleg, you know for a fact that the copies are fresh and they just came out because the person just got into the movie theater. And you can see that the movie theater is packed sometimes, and some people get into the frame of the movie. There's nothing you can really do about that because you bought it on bootleg. You didn't go see it yourself. You screwed yourself over. So basically, when I was watching as a kid, I already got used to the whole feeling of knowing when something is bootlegged because I always had bootlegged movies. But that did not change my love for the music that was presented in the movie. The movie is about four guys who go to an old ski resort that they used to love being in when they were younger. One of the guys that they bring along is like a nephew of theirs because life happens. And he's always playing on computer games, stuff that our generation does nowadays. They find this old raggedy ass hot tub and they think it's a great idea to try to clean it up and get inside of it and party, mostly because they want to know what it feels like to be back in the old days. One of the characters' name is Lou, and he's going through a midlife crisis where he regrets his life and wishes he did things when he was younger. Stuff people in their middle ages go through. So while they're doing all these drugs and stuff, they spill like a can on the hot tub and it teleports them back in time, back to the 80s where they used to be very youthful. The movie gets a little crazy where certain things that the characters know what's gonna happen, it doesn't happen the same way because of like one mistake, and it's fucking hilarious.
Dude! Where's the squirrel though?
End zone, touchdown!
Oh, son of a gun! Hang up, suckers! Hang up! How does he do it? How does he run all the time? How are you getting so lucky? I know the fucking future, douchebag.
A few moments later.
He's got Boyner open! He's impossibly open! Wait, what's this? Vermin!
No! I know the squirrel. That's a magic fucking squirrel. This doesn't count.
He's distracted by a wild squirrel!
What the fuck? Yeah! Oh yeah!
Most of the movie, you'll hear various artists like Motley Crue, David Bowie, and even Foreigner. But the one song that caught my attention is Jesse's Girl by Rick Springfield. In the movie, it was covered by Craig Robinson, which was outstanding vocal performances, and I will say seeing him play the solo on the keyboard with his tongue was pretty goofy but still fun to watch. If you haven't seen this movie, I highly recommend you watch it because it's really good for laughs. It's a fresh movie for people. If you haven't watched it, I think you'll very much enjoy it. School of Rock. This movie was presented to me in school only one time, but that's all it takes for a masterpiece in my eyes. The movie is about Jack Black being a substitute teacher for a high-level private school after getting kicked out of his old bar band. He shows the kids how to play instruments, and they all form their very own school band. There's a lot of fun and heartfelt moments in the movie that made me love Jack Black and the cast that's in it. Many of the songs that are used in the movie, like Iron Man by Black Sabbath, Back in Black by AC/DC, and Sunshine of Your Love by Cream, and many more. But the song that really got me hyped, that I enjoyed the most in the whole movie, is called School of Rock. I always thought it was cool seeing them play instruments and having backup singers and being on stage. It's a very cool music movie. To me, it felt like my version of a musical. I like musicals, but this felt like something more for me. I definitely think you should give the movie a watch. Jack Black is like one of the all-time greats, and in my opinion, this is one of Jack Black's best movies. His like at least his top 5. What? An ultra badass stylized bloodthirsty shoot 'em up game where you constantly mow down groups of enemies with your dual revolvers, SMGs, shotguns, crossbows, and her very own trusty katana. While listening to a badass, insane rockabilly soundtrack. As a little lad, I could only play the demo of the game, but the demo was all I needed to fall in love with this underappreciated gem. The story is about a hardcore mercenary named Ruby, who is hired to retrieve a briefcase that is kept by a Hong Kong mob. After she retrieves the briefcase, the game spirals into a large action-packed adventure that is full of blood splatter, betrayal, and fun, where she must constantly stay on her toes against a large drug ring who tries their utmost best to bust a cap in our main protagonist's head. The music in the game consists of bands like The Creep Show, Knock Gallery West, Gypsy Pistoleros, Gypsy Pistoleros, The Arkhams, and many more. One of my favorite songs in this game is called Insane by The Arkhams. It takes place like where a bunch of enemies surround her. She spins her gun, aims her gun around, and it's like a close-up shot of her eye. And I think it's pretty badass. It plays in the demo. That's why I like it the most. I had a chance to play it as a kid when it was in the demo of the game. I think the soundtrack is very awesome. I think if you are looking for a breath of fresh air with rock and you want other genres in there, you'll get it. I think the gameplay is very loose and fun. I don't think I've ever got bored of the gameplay, to be honest. And I've emulated it like 3 times because I keep coming back to the game wanting more. It's on Xbox 360 and PS3 or an emulator. So if you do get the chance, I highly recommend you play it. You will not regret it. It's no surprise that Regular Show is one of the most popular Cartoon Network shows to have ever graced the platform, with its relatable topics, funny innuendos, and special life lessons. The plot of this show is 2 best friends, Mordecai and Rigby, who work dead-end jobs at the park. They're bums. This is all I really have to tell you about the plot because a lot of crazy things start to happen based off of their regular activities like video games, crushes, karate, food challenges. It's a bunch of just random shit that turns into something way bigger. I remember this time they turned into like a whole Megazord, but in the song it's like, you got a touch, you got the power. That's pretty lit. I love it. I love it. A highlight of mine when it comes to the show is the music. Of course it's the music. Songs like Holding Out for a Hero, Mississippi Queen, and Iran by Flock of Seagulls are played in the show. But the key song that makes me rewatch the show or a certain episode over and over and over again is this.
Holy crap!
This scene here is golden. The guitar riff is fast, clear. Honestly, I tried to play it multiple times and I can't. When I watched that episode as a kid, trust and believe, I was losing my shit. Especially the part where they were getting in sync with the guitars. Oh man, that was pretty badass. I enjoy it. All I can say for Regular Show is thank you, because y'all have showed me a lot of music that I would have never noticed if I didn't watch your show. You will forever be in my top 5 list. I want you to imagine a game. Close your eyes for me. Just close your eyes. Imagine a game that has these elements: traversal, stylistic weapons, funny characters, a colorful world, and zombies. Lots and lots of zombies. Then add a fun garage punk DIY music soundtrack to the game, and you have none other than Sunset Overdrive. This game takes place in a very colorful and bright city known as Sunset City, where the main goal is to kill as many enemies as you can with
style.
Style is very necessary in this game for many reasons, but the main one is because you have to in order to survive. With that style meter being low, it's harder for amps to work. Amps are essentially power-ups for your character you can use once they raise their style. The higher the meter, the easier it gets. The game also prioritizes switching between different weapons in the game to raise your style. No more using TNT to blow up OD. Swap to the Captain Ahab to shoot overcharge infested harpoons at your enemies. Tired of using that? Well, swap to the flaming compensator to shoot them up with the flames from your set, and so on and so on. Wait. I almost forgot about the music. I almost forgot to bring up the music in the game. The soundtrack introduces us to underrated bands like Cheap Time, Boats, Meat Market, Sidoon, The Bronx, and what has become my favorite garage DIY band, Bass Drum of Death. But there are two songs in the game that have really hit me in the feels. The first song is I'm Not an Animal by The Blind Shake. This song plays when you're chasing down an OD infected fucking dragon! The second one is I Want to Be Forgotten by Bass Drum of Death, which plays at the very end of the game. Once you beat the game and you hear that song, it's kind of a breath of fresh air. An honorable mention for the soundtrack is the Bard song, and the person who's performing it is no one other than Laura fucking Bailey, a very elite voice actress. If you haven't played the game, I highly recommend you play Sunset Overdrive. It's on Xbox and it's also on Steam, so you should definitely try when you have the chance. I have a couple questions. Do you like high-speed chases? Do you like explosions? Do you like seeing a guitarist on top of a motorized vehicle playing riffs for his clan's battle music? Well, you're in luck, because there's a movie that meets all those questions. Mad Max Fury Road! What can I say about this movie that no one else has said? This movie couldn't make me hate it even if it wanted me to. I will make a simple explanation about this movie and then that's it. So, a man is in a desert. It's in Australia. Australia was destroyed because they had no oil. The man gets captured by a group of war boys and is forced as a blood bag. Eventually, he escapes in the most unsurvivable way possible, holy shit, and encounters a group of
women
and tries to take their truck along with all of their weapons and supplies. A fight ensues and Max stands victorious after getting his ass beat, of course, by a one-armed hellbringer of a lady named Furiosa. The main baddie Furiosa then offers Max directions on where to go while also offering to...
You want that thing off your face?
Which, that face thing reminds me of the Bane mask from Batman The Dark Knight Rises. It reminds me of that. He is then thrusted into a big battle between the war boys as he tries to eventually help the gang find their way to the land of many mothers. That's all I will say about the movie now, because there's a lot I want you to witness. Now, let's talk about what really got me to wanting to talk about this movie. The scene that got me into the rock music era. There are multiple scenes of this one guy playing his guitar while being on top of a moving truck, and he's playing that shit. He also has like drummers behind him and shit, and he's playing, and it's very fucking badass. It's very cool. I don't think I've seen that in any movie ever. The kicker to the guitar is not from what it looks like, but what it also can do. Not only can it play, but it has a flamethrower! I definitely would recommend you sink your teeth into this movie because it has non-stop action, amazing color palette, stupendously delicious soundtrack that I could never replicate. You won't regret it. You will not regret watching this movie.
Okay, let's start with Launchpad McQuack. That's not the actual title of this.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World is peak! I cannot and I will not describe it in any other way. This movie is a roller coaster ride of fun, just fun. It's a fun movie. The movie is essentially about Scott Pilgrim, who one night has a dream about a woman named Ramona Flowers, who he then tries to date, but also has to go through all of her evil exes in order to retain their love. I just explained the movie in the most simple way as I could. There's a lot more to the story in the movie, like Scott dating Knives, the backstory on how Ramona met her exes, why is Wallace still letting Scott live in his home even though Scott is a bum. All of this being shown while a very fun soundtrack is being played in the background of these scenes. Trust me, there are so many layers in this movie that I prefer to put aside for a solo video in the future. The soundtrack has bands like Black Lips, T-Rex, and Metric. Most of the other songs in the movie are made purposely for the movie and they sound beautiful. My top 3 have to be Black Sheep, We Are Sex Bomb, and Threshold. Threshold is my favorite because of the scene in which there's 2 giant digitalized kaiju monsters fighting each other to the band's playing. Seeing it for the first time made me hyped for this movie, but what made me ultimately fall in love with this movie was the directing. Thank you so much, Edgar Wright. You are the GOAT. And the cinematography. The cinematographer is no one other than Bill Pope. If you don't know who Bill Pope is, he did the cinematography for Spider-Man 2 and The Matrix. If somehow you've never seen this movie or never heard of it, I think you should definitely watch it. Give it a good watch. Give it a long watch. Enjoy the movie. Get some popcorn. Get some food. Turn up them headphones because it is going to blast your soul in the most tasteful way. It is so good. And that was media that introduced me to rock. I'm glad that you all have came to this video and seen it and wanted to hear me out and wanted to know what got me into this stuff. What made me really like rock. This definitely will not be the only time I will be talking about media that introduced me to certain music genres. I definitely have one lined up for jazz, pop, rap. I have a lot more planned music-wise. But anyways, everybody, thank you all for watching. This is Ken, and I will see you all next time.